The silence in the UES Defiance Command Center shattered as another volley of enemy fire struck their shields. Commander Sarah Chen gripped her command chair, watching the holographic display with growing dread as more Vorkath vessels emerged from hyperspace. The alien ships resembled obsidian arrowheads, their hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Shields at 38%, Lieutenant Park announced, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. 2 more enemy vessels approaching from Vector 793. Sarah's mind raced through their rapidly diminishing options. The Defiant was humanity's most advanced warship, the pinnacle of Earth's military achievement. Yet here they were, outgunned and outmaneuvered by an alien force that had appeared without warning at the edge of the solar system mere hours ago. "Commander," Communications Officer Rodriguez called out, "we're receiving reports from Luna Base. The Vorkath are using some kind of quantum disruption field. Our automated defense systems are failing across the board." Sarah's blood ran cold. Earth's orbital defense grid had been their ace in the hole, a network of advanced satellites and automated weapon platforms designed to protect their homeworld. If the aliens could disable it so easily, "Get me a secure channel to Earth Command," she ordered, keeping her voice level. The crew needed her calm now more than ever. "And bring us about to heading 340. We're not letting them get past Mars without a fight." The Defiant's engines thrummed as the massive ship turned to face the oncoming threat. Through the command center's viewport, Sarah watched as Mars hung like a red jewel against the backdrop of space, its research colonies already evacuated after the first signs of the alien approach. "Channel open," Commander Rodriguez reported. "Earth Command, this is Commander Chen. The Vorkath have deployed some form of quantum disruption technology. Our automated defenses are compromised. Requesting immediate authorization for Protocol Omega." The response came quickly, Admiral Harrison's weathered face appearing on the main screen. "Authorization granted, Commander." "But Sarah," he paused, his formal demeanor cracking slightly. "Make it count." Sarah nodded grimly. Protocol Omega was their last resort, a desperate gambit they'd hoped never to use. Tactical, arm the quantum resonance torpedo. Engineering, divert all power to forward shields. The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency, even as another blast rocked the ship. Sarah had handpicked each of them, the best Earth had to offer. Now they might be humanity's last line of defense. "Enemy vessels entering optimal firing range," Tactical Officer John reported. "Quantum resonance torpedo armed and ready." Sarah took a deep breath. The torpedo was experimental technology, designed to create a localized disruption in space-time. It might disable the Vorkath ships, or it might tear a hole in reality itself. Either way, they were out of options. "Target the lead vessel and fire." The torpedo launched, leaving a trail of blue energy as it streaked toward the approaching alien fleet. For a moment, everything seemed to pause, as if the universe itself held its breath. The detonation was unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. A sphere of writhing energy expanded from the point of impact, distorting space itself. 3 Vorkath ships caught in the blast zone simply ceased to exist, while 2 others spun out of control, their systems seemingly scrambled. "Direct hit," Zhang called out triumphantly. Enemy vessels showing signs of severe system failure. But Sarah's relief was short-lived. On the tactical display, dozens more Vorkath ships were emerging from hyperspace. The quantum resonance torpedo had worked, but they only had 2 more, and the enemy's numbers seemed endless. "Commander," Rodriguez's voice was tight with tension. "We're receiving a transmission from the Vorkath." Sarah straightened in her chair. This was unprecedented. The aliens hadn't attempted communication since their arrival. "Put it through." The main screen flickered, and Sarah found herself staring at a being that defied description. The Vorkath commander appeared to be composed of shifting geometric patterns, its form barely holding a humanoid shape. When it spoke, its words were translated by the ship's AI in a synthetic monotone. "Your resistance is noted, humans. Your weapon was unexpected, but it changes nothing. Your species' advancement ends here. Accept extinction with dignity." Sarah's jaw tightened. "We're humanity. We don't accept extinction. We fight." The alien's form rippled in what might have been amusement. "Then you will learn the price of defiance." The transmission cut off abruptly, and Sarah's tactical display exploded with new warnings. The Vorkath fleet was advancing, their weapons charging for what looked like a synchronized strike. "All hands, battle stations," Sarah commanded, her voice carrying across the ship-wide comm. "Earth Command, be advised. We're going to hold them here as long as we can. But you need to find a way to counter their quantum disruption field. The fate of humanity depends on it." As the Defiance weapons opened fire on the approaching armada, Sarah Chen made a silent promise to every human being counting on them. They would find a way. They would survive. Because that's what humanity did best: defy the impossible. The battle for Earth's survival had begun, and humanity's first contact with alien life had come at a terrible price. But in the crucible of this conflict, humanity would either prove its worth among the stars or face extinction trying. The Vorkath were about to learn that humanity never goes quietly into the night. Dr. Marcus Rivera's footsteps echoed through the cavernous underground laboratory, 30 miles beneath the Rocky Mountains. 6 months had passed since the Vorkath's arrival, 6 months of occupation and desperate resistance. The surface of Earth lay scarred by alien weapons, but humanity had refused to surrender. "Dr. Rivera," a voice called out. He turned to see Dr. Emily Chen, sister of the now legendary Commander Sarah Chen, approaching with a holographic display floating before her. "The quantum analysis is complete. You need to see this." Marcus followed her to the central research station, where dozens of scientists worked around salvaged Vorkath technology. The piece they'd been studying was barely larger than a coffee cup, but it had cost 15 resistance fighters their lives to acquire it. "Look at these energy signatures." Emily pointed to the streaming data. "The Vorkath's quantum disruption field isn't just shutting down our systems, it's rewriting their fundamental operating principles." Marcus leaned closer, his eyes widening as he processed the implications. "They're not just disrupting our technology. They're changing the laws of physics in localized areas." He ran a hand through his graying hair. "No wonder our conventional weapons are useless." A distant rumble shook dust from the ceiling. Another Vorkath patrol passing overhead. The alien occupiers had yet to detect their underground network of bases and laboratories, thanks to experimental cloaking technology developed in the early days of the Resistance. "Dr. Rivera," General Hammond's gruff voice came through the lab's comm system. "Monthly briefing in 5 minutes. Bring whatever you've got." Marcus gathered his data tablets and headed for the command center with Emily. The massive chamber was carved directly into the mountain, its walls lined with displays showing the status of resistance cells worldwide. At the center, a holographic map of Earth rotated slowly, marking known Vorkath positions in angry red. General Hammond stood at the briefing table, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic glow. Around him sat the remaining military leadership of Earth's armed forces, along with key scientific advisors. Their numbers grew smaller with each passing month. "Doctor," Hammond nodded as Marcus took his seat. "Please tell me you have something." Marcus activated his data tablet, projecting his findings above the table. "We finally understood how their quantum disruption technology works. More importantly, we think we can counter it." The room fell silent. This was the breakthrough they'd been waiting for since the invasion began. "The Vorkath aren't just advanced," Marcus continued. "They're manipulating fundamental forces we barely understand. But they're not infallible. Their technology operates on precise quantum frequencies. If we can generate an opposing frequency, we can neutralize their advantage," Emily finished. "But we'll need materials we don't have. Specifically, we need access to their quantum core technology." General Hammond's expression darkened. "The only place we'll find that is on their ships or in their ground bases. Both are virtual fortresses. Then we'll break into one, a new voice declared. Everyone turned to see Captain James Wilson stepping out of the shadows. The Special Forces operator had earned the nickname Thunder for his lightning raids against Vorkath positions. My team has been monitoring a forward operating base in what used to be Denver, Wilson continued. They're conducting maintenance on their systems every 48 hours. There's a window of vulnerability. Marcus studied the tactical display Wilson brought up. If we can get inside, I can identify the components we need, but we'll have to be fast. They're security protocols. We'll adapt to our presence within minutes, Emily finished. We've seen it before. General Hammond stood, his decision visible in his stance. This is the best shot we've had in months. Captain Wilson, you'll lead the raid. Dr. Rivera, you're going in with them. Dr. Chen, coordinate from here and be ready to analyze whatever they bring back. As the briefing concluded, Marcus found himself staring at the global display. Human population centers glowed like dying embers across the darkened continents. 6 months ago, he'd been a theoretical physicist working on clean energy solutions. Now he was about to join a commando raid against alien invaders. Scared, Doc? Wilson asked, appearing beside him. Marcus managed a tight smile. Terrified. But we're out of options. Fear keeps you sharp, Wilson replied, checking his modified rifle. Besides, the Vorkath made one crucial mistake when they attacked us. What's that? They assumed we'd break. Instead, they forced humanity to evolve. Every defeat teaches us. Every loss makes us stronger. Wilson's eyes hardened. And now we're about to show them exactly what humanity does when backed into a corner. As Marcus followed Wilson to the armory for mission prep, he reflected on how much humanity had changed in 6 months. They'd lost their cities, their satellites, their position as masters of their own world. But they'd gained something too. A unity of purpose that transcended old divisions, a determination that grew stronger with each setback. The Vorkath had meant to break humanity. Instead, they'd forged it into something stronger, and as Marcus checked his equipment for the upcoming raid, he allowed himself to feel something he hadn't experienced in months. Hope. The resistance was about to strike back, and this time, they had science on their side. Captain James Thunder Wilson pressed himself against the cold metal wall of the Vorkath facility, his adaptive camouflage suit blending perfectly with the alien architecture. Dr. Rivera crouched beside him, hands steady as he worked with the quantum scanner. Around them, 12 of humanity's best operators waited in perfect silence. Energy signatures are fluctuating, Rivera whispered. Their maintenance cycle is beginning. We have 18 minutes. Wilson activated his neural comm, connecting with the resistance base 30 miles below. Thunder lead to control. Operation Thunderstrike is go. Repeat, we are go. Emily Chen's voice responded in his head. Confirmed, Thunder lead. Good hunting. The team moved like shadows through the alien corridor, their movements practiced from countless simulations. The Vorkath's overconfidence had left gaps in their security, gaps that humanity had spent months studying and preparing to exploit. Rivera's scanner led them deeper into the facility, past rooms filled with technology that would have seemed like magic 6 months ago. Now they understood enough to be dangerous. The quantum disruption field that had crippled Earth's defenses was about to become their greatest weapon. Contact, Lieutenant Sarah Rodriguez whispered through the neural net. 2 sentries, approaching from Junction 7. Wilson raised his fist, and the team froze. The Vorkath guards emerged around the corner. Shifting masses of geometric patterns contained within humanoid forms. Their perception was based on quantum states rather than traditional visual spectrum, which was why the Resistance's adaptive camouflage worked so well. The guards passed within inches of the human team, never detecting them. Wilson waited 10 seconds after they'd gone before signaling the advance. Core chamber ahead, Rivera reported, his scanner displaying a complex array of energy signatures. The quantum core is active. This is what we need. Wilson studied the chamber entrance. Rodriguez, Chang, set up a perimeter. Everyone else, prepare for breach and clear. Doc, stay behind me. The team moved with lethal efficiency. Shaped charges designed to work within the Vorkath's altered physics were placed precisely around the door. Wilson counted down on the neural net. 3, 2, 1. The charges detonated silently, the sound absorbed by quantum dampeners. The door disintegrated into its constituent atoms, and the team flowed through like water, weapons ready. 4 Vorkath technicians turned toward the intrusion, their forms rippling with alarm. Before they could react, precision shots from modified phase rifles reduced them to scattered particles. Clear. The call echoed through the neural net as the team secured the chamber. Rivera rushed to the quantum core, a crystalline structure that pulsed with impossible colors. This is it. The frequency modulators, the containment array. Everything we need. He began attaching quantum transfer devices to specific points on the core. Control, we've secured the package, Wilson reported. Beginning extraction phase. Negative, Thunderlead. Emily's voice carried an edge of excitement. New tasking. We're detecting a Vorkath battleship landing at the facility. This is an opportunity we won't get again. Wilson's mind raced through the implications. A battleship would have a complete command and control system, the key to understanding the entire Vorkath battle network. Doc, he turned to Rivera. How long to get what you need? 3 minutes, Rivera replied, hands flying over the quantum core. Control, we're extending the mission, preparing for Phase 2. The next 15 minutes were a blur of precise violence and technical expertise. As Rivera extracted the core components, Wilson's team methodically worked their way toward the landing bay. Every step was a calculated risk, using the Vorkath's own quantum field fluctuations to mask their movements. They reached the landing bay as Rivera finished his work. The battleship loomed above them, its black hull seeming to devour light itself. 24 Vorkath moved around it, conducting landing procedures. Control, we have eyes on the prize, Wilson whispered, requesting clearance for ship capture. There was a moment of silence before General Hammond's voice came through. Granted, Thunderlead, but you've got incoming. Multiple Vorkath patrols converging on your position. Whatever you're going to do it fast. Wilson turned to his team. This is what we trained for. Rodriguez, take your squad and set up a crossfire. Chang, you're with me and the doc. We're going for the command deck. The resistance fighters moved into position. Wilson looked at each of them, seeing the same determination in their eyes. They all knew the stakes. If they could capture this ship, they'd have more than just technical data. They'd have a weapon to strike back at the invaders. On my mark, Wilson breathed, watching the Vorkath patterns through his enhanced visor. 3, 2, 1. Execute. The bay erupted into chaos. Rodriguez's team opened fire from multiple positions, their phase rifles cutting through Vorkath with surgical precision. The aliens responded with energy weapons that warped the very air. But they were shooting at ghosts. The human team was already moving to new positions. Wilson led his squad through the confusion, heading for the battleship's boarding ramp. Rivera followed close behind, his scanner guiding them through the ship's quantum-shifted interior. They fought their way to the command deck, using every trick and tactic they'd learned about Vorkath ship architecture. The aliens had never expected humans to breach their vessels, an arrogance they were about to regret. Control, Wilson called as they secured the command deck. Thunderstrike accomplished. We have control of the ship. Initiate Phase 3. As Rivera began interfacing with the ship's systems, Wilson allowed himself a grim smile. The Vorkath had brought humanity to the brink of extinction, but they'd forgotten something crucial. Humans were at their most dangerous when defeat seemed certain. Operation Thunderstrike wasn't just a raid anymore. It was humanity's first step toward taking back their world. The captured Vorkath battleship's command deck hummed with activity as Dr. Rivera worked to decrypt its vast database. 2 weeks had passed since Operation Thunderstrike, and humanity had already learned more about their enemies than in the previous 6 months combined. Another signal. Lieutenant Rodriguez announced from her station at the modified sensor array. Same frequency as before. Definitely not Vorkaf. Wilson moved to study the quantum wave pattern displayed on the main screen. They'd been detecting these signals for the past 3 days. Deliberate, structured patterns that suggested another intelligence was searching for something. Rivera looked up from his workstation, eyes wide. The ship's AI just finished translating a new section of the database. The Vorkaf aren't just invaders, they're running from something. Before he could elaborate, the ship's sensors screamed a warning. A massive quantum disturbance erupted in space above the hidden resistance base, far larger than any Vorkaf transition they'd seen before. Energy signature doesn't match Vorkaf patterns, Rodriguez reported, her fingers flying over the controls. It's something else. A ship emerged from the disturbance, its design a stark contrast to Vorkaf architecture. Where Vorkaf vessels were angular and dark, this ship was organic in form, its hull seemingly alive with swirling patterns of light. "We're being hailed," Rodriguez announced. "The signal matches the patterns we've been detecting." General Hammond's voice came through the neural net. "All stations, battle stations. Dr. Rivera, what can you tell us about them from the Vorkaf database?" "Searching now," Rivera replied, scanning through the translated data. "Found it. They're called the Selenari. According to this, they've been fighting the Vorkaf for centuries." Hammond was silent for a moment. "Put them through. Let's see what they want." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a being that took everyone's breath away. The Selenari appeared humanoid, but seemed to be composed of crystalline structures that shifted and flowed like liquid light. When it spoke, its words were translated by the captured ship's systems. "People of Earth, I am Ambassador Lyra of the Selenari Collective. We have been searching for survivors of Vorkaf expansion. Your recent capture of their vessel drew our attention." Wilson stepped forward. "I'm Captain James Wilson of Earth's Resistance Forces. We've been fighting the Vorkaf for 6 months." The crystalline being's form rippled in what might have been surprise. 6 months. And you've managed to capture one of their battleships. Fascinating. Most species fall within weeks. Humans are stubborn that way, Hammond replied, joining the conversation. "The question is, Ambassador, what do you want from us?" "To offer an alliance," Lyra responded. "The Vorkaf are a plague upon the galaxy, consuming world after world. But your species has done something unprecedented. You've adapted to their quantum technology faster than any other race we've encountered." Rivera leaned forward. "You've been monitoring our progress." "Since their first attack," Lyra confirmed. "We couldn't intervene directly without risking a full-scale war, but we watched. Your resistance, your ability to understand and counter their technology. It's remarkable." "We're still losing," Hammond stated bluntly. "They control most of our surface. Our people are scattered, hiding underground." "But not broken," Lyra observed. "And now you have one of their ships. We propose a trade. Your insights into adapting their technology for our advanced quantum mechanics. Together, we might finally have a chance to end their expansion." Wilson studied the alien ambassador. "What exactly are you offering?" The screen split, displaying schematics of Selenari technology. Rivera gasped as he analyzed the data. This is beyond anything we've developed. Their quantum manipulation makes the Vorkaf look primitive. We offer knowledge, weapons, and ships," Lyra stated. "In return, we ask for your help in the larger war. The Vorkaf must be stopped, not just on Earth, but across the galaxy." Hammond turned to Rivera. "Doctor, your assessment?" "Their technology is compatible with our modifications to Vorkaf systems," Rivera replied, still studying the schematics. "With their help, we could not only drive the Vorkaf from Earth, but take the fight to them." Wilson felt a surge of hope, the first real hope since the invasion began. "How soon can we begin?" "Immediately," Lyra answered. We've brought engineers and quantum specialists. They're eager to work with the humans who've accomplished so much in so little time. Over the next hours, as the initial agreements were made, Wilson watched Selenari ships emerge from quantum space, sleek vessels that made the captured Vorkath battleship look crude by comparison. Engineers from both species began working together immediately, their excitement transcending the barriers between their races. Rivera worked closely with the Selenari quantum specialists, their combined knowledge yielding insights that neither species could have achieved alone. The Selenari were astounded by humanity's innovative adaptations, while humans marveled at the aliens' mastery of quantum mechanics. "They're not just giving us technology," Rivera told Wilson as they watched humans and Selenari working together. "They're giving us a future, a place among the stars." Wilson nodded, but his mind was already on the battles to come. The Vorkath had thought to find an easy conquest on Earth. Instead, they created something unprecedented, an alliance that would change the course of galactic history. Humanity had answered the call to arms, and now they weren't fighting alone. The combined fleet of human and Selenari ships hung in space near Jupiter's orbit, a sight that would have been impossible just weeks ago. Captain Wilson stood on the bridge of the flagship, a Selenari vessel now crewed by both species, watching as the final preparations were made. Dr. Rivera's voice came through the neural net, enhanced by Selenari quantum technology. "The modifications are complete. Every ship in the fleet is equipped with the new quantum resonance system." "Status of the Vorkath fleet?" Wilson asked, though he could see them clearly on the tactical display. Hundreds of black ships approaching in tight formation. "They've taken the bait," Commander Chen replied from her position aboard the retrofitted UES Defiant. "They're committing their entire Earth occupation force to this battle." The past month had been a blur of preparation and integration. Selenari quantum specialists had worked alongside human engineers to combine their technologies in ways neither species had imagined possible. Rivera's breakthroughs with the captured Vorkath systems had been the key, creating a synthesis that gave them a fighting chance. Ambassador Lyra's crystalline form shimmered beside Wilson. "The Vorkath are transmitting. They're demanding our surrender." Wilson allowed himself a grim smile. "Let's hear it." The alien commander's geometric form appeared on the main screen, its patterns aggressive and chaotic. "Your resistance ends here. The Selenari cannot save you. Surrender now, and we will make your extinction painless." Wilson glanced at Lyra, who nodded. This was the moment they'd planned for. "Actually," Wilson replied, "we have a counteroffer." He nodded to Rivera, who activated the quantum resonance system. Across the fleet, hundreds of ships began broadcasting on precisely calculated frequencies, the result of combining Selenari mastery of quantum mechanics with humanity's innovative adaptation of Vorkath technology. The effect was immediate. The Vorkath ships at the front of their formation began to shimmer, their quantum-based systems disrupted by the harmonized attack. But this was just the beginning. "All ships, execute attack pattern Omega," Wilson commanded. "Remember your training. Hit them hard, hit them fast." The combined fleet moved with precision that would have seemed impossible a month ago. Human tactical innovation merged with Selenari technology as ships darted through space in complex patterns, each movement calculated to maximize the effect of their quantum assault. The Vorkath responded with typical aggression, their weapons twisting space itself as they fought back. But for the first time, they were facing an enemy that could match their quantum manipulation capabilities and exceed them. Phase 2, Wilson ordered as the battle lines engage. "Commander Chen, you have the signal." Sarah Chen's voice rang clear through the command channel. "Initiating quantum cascade." The Defiant, now upgraded with Selenari technology, launched a modified version of the quantum resonance torpedo that had proved so effective in humanity's first encounter with the Vorkath. But this time, it carried something new. A virus designed by Rivera to infect the Vorkath's quantum network. Impact in 3, 2, 1. Rivera counted down. The torpedo detonated in the heart of the Vorkath formation. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, ship after ship began to lose coherence as their quantum fields collapsed. "It's working," Rivera shouted. "Their entire command and control network is unraveling." The Vorkath fleet fell into chaos as their ships lost the ability to maintain their quantum state. Some vessels simply ceased to exist, their matter scattered across space. Others drifted powerless, their crews trapped inside. All ships pressed the advantage. Wilson commanded, "Don't let up." The next hour was a symphony of destruction as the combined fleet methodically destroyed or captured the remaining Vorkath vessels. Ships that had terrorized Earth for months were now helpless before the combined might of human determination and selenary technology. When the last Vorkath ship had been neutralized, a profound silence fell over the command channel. Wilson looked out at the debris field that had once been an invincible alien armada. "Status report," he requested quietly. 87% of the Vorkath fleet destroyed or captured. Rodriguez reported. "Our losses, minimal. The quantum shields held." Ambassador Lyra turned to Wilson, her crystalline form glowing with what he'd learned to recognize as excitement. "This victory will reshape the galaxy. The Vorkath believe themselves invincible. You've proven them wrong." "We did it together," Wilson replied. "But there's still work to do. Earth needs to be rebuilt, and there are other worlds under Vorkath occupation." "Indeed," Lyra agreed. "The Selenary Collective formally invites humanity to join our alliance. Your species has proven itself not just worthy, but essential to the future of galactic civilization." As Wilson looked at the tactical display showing Earth, now free of Vorkath control for the first time in months, he thought about how far humanity had come. From a species fighting for survival in underground bases to a key player in an interstellar alliance. "Send word to all resistance cells," he ordered. "Earth is secure. Operation Thunderstrike is complete. Tell them they can come home." The cheers that erupted across the fleet were deafening. Human and Selenary voices joined together in celebration of their shared victory. But Wilson's thoughts were already on the future. Humanity had answered the call to defend their world, and in doing so, they'd found their place among the stars. The war wasn't over. The Vorkath still controlled much of the galaxy, but they'd learned a crucial lesson. Never underestimate humanity's capacity to adapt, to fight, and to triumph against impossible odds. The stars themselves had witnessed humanity's stand, and they would never forget.